Alright, in case you are joining me for the very first time, my name is Tim Abel and I am the author of the book How to Start a Business Without Money. For about 3 weeks ago, I promised I'm going to review the entire book in series, How to Start a Business Without Money. And I'm going to get started today with this very first episode, which of course probably might do one or two into other chapters. But the first thing I want to say is simple. Everybody who has succeeded in life has succeeded by virtue of one experience or another. Experience in terms of pains. And for some people, when these people who have succeeded tell their stories, tell their painful stories, some people see it as fun, some see it as a motivation for them to actually get started with their own life and channeling their energy in the right path. While others have probably seen or heard the stories and said, oh no, if that's how it is, I can't do it. And they give up on life generally. So, my own experiences are basically what I put together in this very little piece. And I am so sure that for those who are willing to actually get themselves past the situations they find themselves today, this is your best bet. If you haven't had a job for many years and you graduated from the university, from a secondary school, from whatever institution it is, and on a day-to-day basis you see your peers advance in life, they're living comfortably. I want you to understand something, that it may not seem as easy as you perceive or as you view them. They've been through the hell of time. They've had their difficulties, and for those who are celebrating their lives today, they've had rough stories to tell. And you are no different from them. You can actually create your own life and advance your course from where you are today. So, the entirety of this book is basically designed to help people who are finding life difficult. It's to help people who are having challenges with their businesses. It's to help people who are confused, even though they have very bright ideas, to help them rechannel their ideas, rechannel their focus, and begin to make things out of it. I've received calls, questions many times from people who would say, Tim, I have 100,000 naira, I have 10,000 naira, I have 200,000, whatever the amount is, I have monies, and I want you to tell me where best to invest the money. And some would say, I want to start a business. Can you just tell me where to start from? Now, there are two things. Investing your money in businesses that can pay you over time. Secured investments, that's what I'm talking about. And having to launch your money into a business that you have to control directly. Those are two different things entirely. for those who can find investment opportunities, I want to say congratulations. But the challenge is when you have a business opportunity where you have to invest, you stand a lot of risk. Risk in the fact that you're not in control of your money, so it could get lost. A risk in the fact that you become idle and you can't even take care of some life's necessities because you will have to wait for your investors or your money investment managers to churn out the profits before you can actually hold grasp of what you need to benefit from. That as it may be, I would say that both are actually wonderful ideas, both are good, but if you have no job, I would advise that you take on the opportunity of doing it directly yourself and watching how it grows. But here today, I am not going to talk about your money. I'm going to talk about just what you need to be able to start a business without money. And before I go into that, I want to just give a brief story. And this story is about, I told the story many times, either as articles written or as word of mouth. But specifically because of this book, I want to retell the story because I wrote the story here as well. It's about a young man, I think in his early 40s or thereabout, an Igbo chap to be precise, who is married with kids and a wife. Incidentally, he's a professional architect, and one of those days when I was on radio, he got my number and hours later called me and shared his ordeal with me, and it was actually pathetic. What did he say? He opened up to me because I had told my own story on radio. He opened up to me and said, "Look, Tim, whatever you have gone through is almost as same as mine. But the difference is you have moved on. I am still stopped. I have turned a beggar on the streets of Abuja on a daily basis. And people see me and run away now because when they see me, the only thing that tends to come out of me is, man, help me. I need to feed my family today." And for others, especially ladies amongst my peers, they will see me and probably start shedding tears. Well, the story is that deep, but I just crafted a few of it on in the book. But by and large, what happened, I was able to talk to him. I did the little I could, and also directed him on the next line of action. And he became one of my protege who has gone ahead to start up his own business without money. And today, he's happy. So I talked about him in my book. Now the fact remains this. A lot of people are going through this very hellish challenges. A lot of people finding life so difficult. A lot of people cannot take even a square meal per day. A lot of people, even if they're able to take care of them, their feeding, cannot pay bills, other bills that has to do with probably health, that has to do with kids going to school, that has to do with their fashion, and probably even extend it to their parents at home. So many people are in this trap. In the first chapter of my book, How to Start a Business Without Money, ask the major questions, or ask the major question: can anyone actually start a business without money? Now I'll tell you this. Yes, anyone can start a business without money. It doesn't matter if you're educated. It doesn't matter if you've been to an entrepreneurial training. It doesn't matter if you have a knowledge of your market environment. It doesn't matter if you have a product to sell or not. What matters is the question: can anyone start a business without money? And I strongly say yes. Yes and yes. Anyone can start a business without money. All that you need to start a business without money is just you. And when I say you, I am talking about the potentials you have. First and foremost, every success starts with you as an individual. It starts with your ideas, and from your ideas goes or transforms into what people see as success. Why did I say this? You see, if you want to succeed in anything, there is just no way success will just run into you. No. It comes first with you creating time to think. Then, after thinking, you now start putting the thoughts into actions. And when you're able to put the thoughts into actions the right way, what happens? You begin to see the needed results. That's exactly what success looks like. Success does not demand an external input first. So that's why anyone who has ever been successful, or who has succeeded, or who is a success today, will tell you that the first thing, the first step in success is right in you, and that's working on you first. And in summation of whatever you need to work on, I would say simply it's about personal development. First, personal development in your ability to think. Personal development in your ability to understand, rediscover, and find your strengths and weaknesses. Personal development in your ability to plan. Personal development in your abilities to take actions. And when you're able to do all of this and many more, you will find success. We cannot all be successful in a twinkle of an eye. It's something that has to build over time. We have our weaknesses as humans because it's nature, we're natural in life. And for us to be successful, there are sacrifices we must make. There are things we must let go in our lives to be able to find success. And those things are the things that you must work on. And it's all right in you. And that's it. So let's get into that very big question. Can anyone start a business without money? That's a very big question. And I say this, yes, anyone can start a business without money. I'll give a clear instance, a very vivid one. Who knows about Amazon? Amazon's story is a beautiful story that anyone who has ever heard about success should dig into and learn from that of Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. I was told of the story years ago, and I sat down and said, if Jeff could do it this way, let me think about another way I can approach mine. And this is Jeff's story. Jeff loved computers, and he loved books. And I decided, okay, how can I actually help get books across to people? And he began to put books together on computers, on the internet, and people began to see some of the books they like, especially the titles and reviews of some of these books, and they began to buy these books. Jeff Bezos today, the richest man in the world, as at the previous Forbes review, Jeff Bezos was the richest man. Owner of Amazon has gone ahead to not just sell books, he has moved into other niches, and he's selling varieties of things across the world. Some of my books, I bought them from Amazon. As you can see, some of those books, hard copies basically, hard copies, soft copies. I bought a lot of books from Amazon. And not just books. Today they sell audiobooks, they sell video books, they sell so many things. Fashion, food supplements, they sell kitchenettes, so many things. That's a man who started without money. All he needed to do was to think and put together people's work, and he got people to start buying it. From there, those who he sold for were paying him, and those who were buying from him were also paying him. So he was basically in it from both sides. And today, he's the richest man in the world. Well, there might be a new review. Yes, there is a new review that disputes that maybe after the lawsuit between him and his wife. That's for Jeff Bezos. The next story I want to tell you about is that of the Uber friends, the Uber motors you see today. The story was like this. These guys attended the conference, and after the conference, they needed to check out of where they were, and they couldn't get a cab to pick them up. So it was painful. When they got back, rather than just shove that thing off or shove the paints off, they thought and said, come, how can we take care of this kind of problem we found ourselves today? And from there came the birth of Uber. Today, Uber is in about 58 countries or 48 countries, thereabout. But listen, it's not just about the story, it's about the concept. What did they do? Uber never owns a car at all. What Uber does is, you have a car, register it on our platform. We will get the buyers to buy from you. We'll get people who want to actually use your cars as official cars to use it conveniently. And I'm sure a lot of you understand how the business runs here today. That's a very simple and straightforward concept about how to start a business without money. You may want to ask, team, what other thing do you think can be done, or we can start in this country, Nigeria, without money, or Africa without money? There are 1,000,001 opportunities out there. In this book, I listed them, but I'll just give you probably just 2 or 3. First, let me talk about cars, automobile. Are you a car freak? If you are a car freak and you understand how cars run, you understand the beauty of cars, passionate about cars, then maybe it is an opportunity for you. You could go into that industry because everyone is buying car every day. A lot of people are buying cars every day. Everybody is interested in buying a car because uh, not just for luxuries, as necessities. So you could set up a platform where you go around all the car dealers in your environment and get them to register on your platform, and you do the marketing for them. Now the sweet part of this is that where it answers the fact that anyone could actually start a business without money is the fact that, let's assume the car owners is the example I'm going to use here. Let's assume the car owners have invested 1 million naira or 1 billion naira in buying their cars. Do you know what they need the most? They need buyers, and they hardly can get buyers. And a good number of them don't even understand how selling goes. They don't know how online marketing operates. So you have an edge. Learn how to market products online, and you sit down and put their cars on the platform and help them showcase the cars to the world, showcase the cars to people around you. You can use all types of social media platforms to do all of this. I use Facebook the most because Facebook tends to have most of the attributes that can help me sell some of my products. So I use Facebook the most. You can decide to use Instagram, you can use Twitter, you can use email. And so many platforms are actually out there for you to use. But all you need is the knowledge. So can anyone actually start a business without money? Yes, you can. And what's all about starting a business without money? One thing, the concept is selling. You just have to learn how to sell, and you will be able to start a business without money. My health product business, my telecommunications business, my real estate business, my what's it called? My consultation business. That's the business development, marketing, and sales consulting business. All of this started without money. Well, I would say that along the line, I had to start injecting monies from other businesses into one or two. But I'll tell you this, that primarily I started without money when I went broke. And I was almost going to die in my room with idleness, with fear of, oh, what is life showing me? What's all this about? The pains I'm going through in life, until I discovered myself, until I discovered one simple thing: personal development. And since then, I have thrived. Now, there are failures along the way, along my path, massive failures along my path, because I lacked some of the things I needed to have as an entrepreneur, and that was why those failures came. And by His grace, failure is always sweet. So you learn from them, and it becomes your pathway to a greater height. So briefly, let me just talk about the health business. If you have read my book, you would have noticed I talked about the health products in that business. How did I find the health product business? I was marketing my light business one of those days, and I met with a client in one of the ministries here in Abuja, and I marketed my product to him. He liked it and invited me to visit him in the house. I went to the house, fixed the lights, and a few days later, he gave me a post-dated check. A few days later, called me and said he would like to talk to me. I got to his office, and he spoke to me about his health products, herbal products, and I told him, yes, I can actually help him market the products, and we signed a 15 years contract with the company, with the pharmacist, with a researcher, and we started selling the products. Incidentally, we tried some of the products with some very close allies that I know, and it worked, and we've since then built a massive business structure for the man, and he's loving it every day. He's loving it. He has just very recently, one of those reporters or investigators, who I don't know, walked into my office to probably destroy me, and he did a recording of me without my knowledge in my office, and got some words from me. But I don't want to really talk about that, because first I have instructed my lawyer to go head on with them, because I know what it means to want to tarnish my image. So I'm going to arrest that in the bud, or nip it in the bud. But listen, this is one ignorance that people have. Coming into my office and saying I do real estate and I do health makes just no meaning. It's just very stupid an idea for you to say that someone is having a business in real estate and as such should not be in health. And not just that, he went ahead to say he wanted to bring his patient to me, and I said, I don't treat patients. For God's sake, my job here is to sell the product. So that's, by the way, the fact is we're taking care of that. But the message I'm trying to pass across here is that when you are in business, you can do as many businesses as you want, especially when your job is selling. You can sell as many products as you can. Dangote, who is selling cement today, is also selling sugar, selling juice, selling in fact, even going into selling flowers, and even going into fuel or petrol today, the refinery business, the oil and gas business. So what's wrong with you or with one man having several streams of income? That's exactly the problem we're talking about. When people are ignorant, you come into my office and you say, my office is a real estate office, without even finding out whether my business is actually real estate or health or whatever. I don't want to rant about that. Let me just let that be. Let's go straight to the purpose of this very first part of the book. So this book is simply assuring you that, look, you can start a business without money. Anyone can start a business without money. And by the way, if you are saying that you need money to start a business, let's ask a few questions then. Because when you go online to say, how do you raise capital to start a business? There are so many authors who have written about that particular topic, and they've come up with several options. Amongst these options, I have picked 7, and I'm going to tell you why those options cannot work, especially in a country like ours today. First, they said you should tap into your personal savings. How many people actually have savings in a very pressing economy? How many people have savings? A good number of us are not even coming from well-to-do homes. So we don't even have enough to take care of ourselves in school before we graduated. And even when we graduate, the kind of jobs we get is not so good enough to help us take care of the immediate needs and be able to save. It means that if you have to save, you have to sacrifice a whole lot of good things that are necessities to life to be able to save. So, how can you tell someone who has not gotten a job in his life? How can you tell someone who has no source of income from anywhere to save money to start a business? You can see why that point does not make any sense. Now, the second one is sell personal assets. I just talked about someone who doesn't have savings. Having assets is probably having a land, having a television, a radio, a setting in your house, or probably a table like this. How many people that are broke have that asset, that kind of asset? Now, even if you have them, how many people would want to buy those assets from you in an amount that can equate to what you will really need to start a business that you can call your own? Very rare. In fact, anyone who does not have money cannot have assets, except maybe you're inheriting the asset. So that's gone. I would say it doesn't work. The third one they ask you to do is to use credit cards. As a banker, I know for sure that in this part of the world, for you to be qualified to get a credit card from a bank, you need a good turnover. If you're not in business, if you're not earning salaries, then you're not qualified. Even if you're earning salaries, how much money is enough for you to use credit card loans? It just doesn't work. So I'll say zero to that as well. The next one is also borrow against your home. Some home is even an asset, or probably they're asking you to go and borrow from your father's asset, your father's house's asset. Now the truth is, most of our parents don't even have CFOs for their property, for the properties they built, and maybe the houses they built are in a village where nobody would want to even take a second look at, except maybe one very wealthy man who would want to say, okay, I want to go and buy the whole village. But how many of them do we have in our society today? Very rare. So borrowing against your home is another fallacy, big fallacy that's been told to people. Then the fifth one, they said take out a bank loan. If you're not qualified for a credit card, so how can you then qualify for a bank loan? So I'll push that aside. I don't need to dwell on that. The next one is also cash in on retirement account. Retirement account is one of the worst policies we have today. I retired myself voluntarily from the bank, and I walked into my retirement savings home, and let me just not talk about their name, or let me not mention their name. But I walked in there and I said, how much am I qualified to pull out from this account? And it said 500,000, because I had saved only 2.5 million or so in my whole years of banking since the policy started. And I said, okay, give me 50%. They said I can't take 50% until I clock 60. And I'm just slightly above 40. I was just slightly above 40 then. And I told them, please, I need the money. And they said, look, you can't get the money because you're not qualified. And at the end of the day, the only thing they gave me was 1/4 of that amount of money, which was about 500 and something thousand. And it was just not enough. Truth is, I had already started making money before I even got the money from them. So I think I can't remember exactly what I used that money for, but I think it was something I just couldn't lay claims to or see as a legacy from that fund released to me. So what I'm saying in essence is, how many people will even live up to 60 to be able to catch in on their retirement? And by 60, how many people will have this kind of strength that you at 40, you at 30, you at 20 would have, or 50 would have? How many? So basically what the policy is saying is, we are saving this money for you so that when you retire, we can just carry it and give it to you, so that you can go and just start one business, and one young boy will run away with the money, or one young girl will run away with the money. Look, that does not work. It's another big lie. So I'll push that aside. Then the last of the 7 is the loan program. A lot of people come up with loan program, but they come in this form. They tell you, oh, save the hands, or what it was it called? They tell you save somebody, donate 10,000, and the next 3 minutes you have 20,000 or 30,000 and all of that. These are Ponzi schemes. Ponzi in the sense that they are getting from you, getting from Mr. B, C, D, E, and giving to Mr. D, E, F. And by the time Mr. F consumes everything, he won't even be able to raise to take care of Mr. B, A, or C. Not just that, the Ponzi scheme is just a fraud. It's a fraud. And a lot of people are still falling victim to it. When I was warning a lot of people about the deal when it came in newly, a good number of them failed to listen to me. A good number of them attacked me because they felt I was trying to kill their business. But you see, my job here is to tell you my experience. I will not kill your business intentionally. I'm only going to tell you my experience, and I won't say that anyone who is doing a Ponzi scheme should learn enough from me, because I think I have been beaten in the past from that end. And so my experience is enough teacher for anyone who is actually willing to make money. So coming to loan programs, I would say, look, none of this works. None of this can provide you the capital you need to start a business. And don't dare to go those paths. You will be wasting a whole lot of time reading those things or listening to those things from those authors and trying to exploit. I would say none of this work. Simply all you need to do is just to understand how to sell, and you will be flying. Now I'll tell you this, that in the coming days you'll be hearing even more from me on the show, and my aim is to actually help at least 1 million Nigerians from that pit. And that is why whenever I'm done recording my video, I will do the needful, edit it, and push it out there so you can watch and begin to follow me and probably see, maybe from one or two things I say, even if all is not important to you, the few that are important, you can hold grasp to those ones and let it change your life. Let it turn things around for you. I'll be leaving you here until I come for the next chapter. Please stay tuned. But know what? Don't leave without subscribing to this channel or liking my page so you can get to hear more from me. Thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye for now.